welcome to my weekly self-important Magic the Gathering show. This is the second Transformers episode. Although, I don't know why I bother announcing it. Like, we all know that that's in the title. This is just me ranting about dumb things that we say at the beginning of videos. Anyway, let's get started. Jetfire, Ingenious Scientist. 4 and a blue for a 3/4 legendary artifact creature robot with more than meets the eye for 3 and a blue. That means you can cast the backside for this amount. It has flying, a rare Autobot ability. Remove 1 or more +1/+1 counters from among artifacts you control. Target player has that much colorless mana. This mana cannot be spent to cast non-artifact spells. Convert Jetfire. So, to explain that last part, the second to last part, you can cast artifact spells, and you can activate abilities of permanence. And I think you can also use it to pay for, like, tax costs. Like, if someone has a Ristic Study or a Smothering Tithe out. Or if someone did a mana tithe, if you're in a cheeky game and you need to pay that extra one or your spell gets countered. I'm fairly certain that works. As long as it's not part of the casting cost. If it's just something you can pay, yeah. So on the backside, it's still a 3/4, so that's interesting. Some of these have different powers and toughnesses on the back. But it's living metal, which means while it's a vehicle, it's a artifact creature on your turn, but not an artifact creature on your opponent's turns. And then it still has flying, and then you can pay 3 blue to convert Jetfire, then adapt 3, which means you put 3 +1/+1 counters on it. So this is mono blue +1/+1 counters. Which is mildly interesting. So now we're going to go through our suite of islands where we just look at the cool art I picked. I picked 30 different islands. I think I did. Did I? Yep. Well, not 30. Some of these are repeated. Okay. So we have this one. Wait, hold on. This is from Unstable. It is funny how, like, they got people to buy the unsets, at least some of the ones that weren't all that good, by putting, like, really cool full art lands in them so that people would want to open, even though the cards weren't legal in any format unless you talk to your friends and be like, is it okay? And even then, a lot of them just won't get played. I know this is a tangent, but I do remember actually having that conversation with friends because there were uncards that I liked using. Like the big furry monster in a mono black deck, or the card Mine, because it was completely ridiculous. I won't look it up here, but M-I-N-E 3 times in a row, each word with an exclamation point. I think there was another one called Gerrymandering, which was funny. Like, just silly stuff. Then there's this one. This is the one from the Transformers Secret Lair. This is from that 80s Vector Secret Lair. Theros Beyond Death. One of the Zendikar Rising. I'm looking directly at the art, forgetting that the words are just slightly to the right of my eyes of where I'm looking. That is Zendikar Rising again. Streets of New Capenna. Dominaria United. Infinity. 2 Brothers War ones in a row. Murders of Karlov Manor. I guess I liked this one because it did give me a Cybertronian vibe. This one also did, although there's like a token human in there. This one from Final Fantasy, it has the vibe. Edge of Eternities. And then we have the Ozolith, just in case something happens to one of our creatures that has +1/+1 counters on it, so this will hold on to those counters. Endless Atlas, because we're in a monocolor, and it's an easy way to draw cards. Psymaster Thopterus to give us artifacts when we cast artifact spells. This Research Craft does the same thing as long as you get its station up to 3. And just as a reminder, station is you tap a creature you control as a sorcery, put charge counters on this artifact equal to the power of the creature you tapped, and then when it has as many counters as it says on the left side over there, it gets those abilities. So at 3, when you cast an artifact spell, you draw a card, and then this gets a charge counter. And then when it's at 12, it still has the +3 ability, or the 3+ ability, but it also becomes a flying 08 that gets +1/+0 for each artifact you control, so that's neat. Then we have Mystic Forge to cast artifacts and colorless spells from the top of our library. Like, I never bother saying this part where you can pay a life and exile the top card of your library. That's just to get rid of something because you're, like, digging. But you can only really do that once a turn. The Aether Spark, I mentioned this last week, but this reminds me of the Matrix of Leadership. And that's actually kind of a funny idea that they don't... Because the souls of Transformers are also called sparks. And a spark igniting is what causes a Planeswalker to be able to Planeswalk. Then we have the Vidalcan Archmage to draw a card when we cast an artifact spell. Memnon. I'm going to try that again because I feel like I put too many M's in there. Memnon, the right hand. This also lets us cast artifacts from the top of our library. And it turns all of our artifacts into mana rocks for casting spells from anywhere other than our hand. So it's for casting spells from the top of our library, or casting our commander, or if we were to impulsive draw, which is mono blue, so that's probably not happening. Oh, or warp costs. Warp being you cast it from your hand for its warp cost, and then you exile it at the end of the turn, and then on a later turn you can cast it for its normal mana value, and that's not from your hand. So I don't know if we have anything that warps in this deck, but like that's all that. And then we have Optimus Prime, non-legendary version, because it's an Autobot deck. Cybertron Command Tower. Dol Amroth, untap legendary permanent. Academy Ruins. Oh, but it's we have a token human on it. That's Lara Croft, of course. And then we can put an artifact from our graveyard on top of your library. That's be handy. Myriad Landscape to kind of ramp. Reliquary Tower, so we don't have a maximum hand size. Surgical Bay, we can just sacrifice it to draw a card. This we can, once we station it to 12, we can basically add blue for each artifact we control by tapping this and paying 1. Which reminds me that instead of... I don't think I'm too worried about untapping my legendary creature. Because we could put in artifact lands in here to increase this, but I guess we really don't need to do that. We don't need to worry about that. Aetherize, because we're in our mass disruption section. Aether Spouts. We only have 2 mass disruption pieces. There are actually more we can put in now that I think about it. Like there's like Bluster Squall, which you might have seen me put in other decks. Curse of the Swine that can turn things into pigs. But they just don't. They don't. Bluster Squall could be on theme, but Curse of the Swine doesn't feel on theme, even though last week I put a bunch of non-theme stuff in the deck because I just really needed to fill out my removal section. Like the removal section of this deck, if we go from here, and then of course we have Liberator and Shimmermere to cast our artifacts at instant speed. But then we also have Pongify. Oh, if I have Pongify and Rapid Hybridization, then I guess I should be fine. And then Reality Shift, I like this one because it digitizes them. But if I have these ones, then I think I should be fine with Curse of the Swine. So let's grab that. There's a lot of Curse of those, and most of those are the Aura Curse that you attach to a player. And then we have Fabricate because even though it has Megatron here, I'm like, that's fine. Just like I plan on putting the Autobot one that has Hot Rod on it into the Decepticon decks that can use it. Search your library for an artifact card, put it in your hand. And then we have Dramatic Reversal to untap all non-land permanency control. I could limit myself and say this can only go into the blue and only into the other ones, but it's like, no, I'm not going to bother. And then our super big ramps section, we'll start with the most expensive and work our way. No, we should start up here. So we have Soul Ring, Pride from a Cold Dead Hands. I said last week that this could be Energon or some kind of Power Stone. Arcane Signet. I changed this last time. I'm going to change it again. Cargo Ship. We don't, considering all the ramp we have, we don't really need the Cargo Ship. But Chief Engineer. This is a weird picture. But okay. Artifact spells, we have cast Convoke, so we can tap creatures to pay for either one generic or a mana of its color, or the creature's color. Cold Steel Heart again. Ethereum Sculptor. It is an artifact creature, so that's good to know. Artifact spells cost 1 less to cast. The Felwar Stone. Honestly, we can remove the Felwar Stone as well. Mind Stone, because it's got a robot on it. Sapphire Medallion, because it makes our blue spells 1 less. And that's better than a Mana Rock, because it's a blanket effect. Sky Diamond. The Allspark. Iron Crag, we can remove that. Thought Vessel, we will switch that to the other one. Like, I know it has a picture of a Necron on it that looks like a Decepticon. I just kind of prefer this picture. Foundry Inspector to make our artifacts cheaper. Grand Architect. Other blue creatures you control get +1/+1. Target artifact becomes a blue creature until end of turn. Tap an untapped blue creature you control, add 2 to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to activate or cast spells of artifacts or activate abilities of artifacts. So it's like better Convoke, only you can't get colored mana out of it. Good old Solemn Simulacrum and the Water Crystal. It has this whole thing about milling, but that's not important. Even though it can mill, it's just blue spells cost 1 cheaper, and it looks, like it could be some kind of power crystal. Then we got the old Pongify, Rapid Hybridization, Reality Shift. I could put in all of the bounce spells I normally put in these kinds of decks, but I think I'm going to keep this one at I'm going to say lower competitive level rather than lower power level. It's like I'm not removing, I'm being less responsible with removal, but maybe I'll find removal in some other way. I don't know. I'm going to try to be more aggro. Maybe. I don't know. Oh, and with... hold on. When you do adapt... they can't have any other +1/+1 counters on them? Hold on. If it... Okay, it's specifically +1/+1 counters. So it puts 3 on if it has none on it. So what are we at? We're at 11 creatures, but a lot of them are cost reducers, and they don't do a whole lot. Actually, the Aether Spark is actually really good in this. And the funny thing is that you don't adapt 3 if this thing still has +1/+1 counters on it when you convert it and convert it back. So, the adapt is just there to go. Okay, you have none. Well, here's a starter group for you to get you started. Here's your allowance because you're poor. So we are gonna let's just check EDH rec first. We're not see the Synod to put another artifact in. Kappa Cannoneer is definitely a good card. Let's see what other printings we have. Okay, we're gonna go with this border. So so it has improvise, which means you can tap artifacts to pay for one of the generic costs. And it has ward 4, which means that if it's targeted by something, an opponent does, they have to pay 4 or that ability gets countered. So it's a tax. This is one of those things that I'm fairly certain if someone else has ward that we can use Jetfire's ability on. Whenever Kappa Cannoneer or another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Kappa Cannoneer, and it can't be blocked this turn. This is just a really good card. Steel Overseer is slow. You tap it to put a +1/+1 counter on each artifact creature you control. This has affinity for artifacts. Sure, and then when it enters, we draw 2 cards. So it's the kind of thing where we would really need at least 4 artifacts in play before we play this, because it's a 2/2. So a flying 2/2 for 2 isn't the worst. But having 5 or... Oh wait, no, we'd want 5, not 4. But if we had 5 or 6 and this thing only... But if we had 6 and it only cost a blue, that'd be the best. That reminds me of something from last week that I think I forgot to do. I looked at some of my other decks. So on the prowl, we're going to take out Oswald Fiddlebender because there's that one guy. Yeah. Mycosynth. This one, affinity for artifacts, that gives everything else affinity for artifacts. I forgot about... There we go. I completely forgot about that. That guy's going to go in this one too, because why not? Oh, there's another Mycosynth, because we're in blue. Non-land permanents you control are artifacts in addition to their other types. The same is true for permanent cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. Oh, well, that's mildly interesting. I don't think we need that for this deck, but that is an interesting card. Oh yeah, I was looking at creatures over here. Okay, yeah, let's see. No, Imri, the Lurker of the Loch, lets us. First, it mills us when it for 4 cards when it comes in, but then we can cast one artifact on our turns from our discard pile. Oh, Joyr's Familiar. That's another thing I might have forgot to put in this one. Yep, I did. You got to make them cheaper. But what would we take out? Let's see. There's Gandalf. There's Aerial Extortionist, which is basically the commander again. There's generic white thing. There's thing that may draw us a card. Thing that may draw us a card. And thing that may draw us a card. You know, we'll take out the Archivist. Because once again, that kind of ramp is the superior ramp. And everything else is fine. So we will go back to this deck again. Okay. Another interesting thought I had is that with the Cybermen Squadron, if you attack with your mana reducers and you have either Liberator or Shimmermere out, there's a brief time where you get an additional reduction of 2 on your spells before you have to sacrifice your Myriad tokens. I think I will put both of these in this one because sometimes you just put generically good cards in deck. Like, this thing isn't legendary, so it at least itself has Myriad because it doesn't say other. And we are at 17 creatures. I do want more. Oh wait, Liberator gets +1/+1 counters as well as, so that's neat. Oh, and I might be able to get through this without having any human friends, which is funny. For the Decepticons, I would probably call them collaborators. For what it's worth. Go back into here, go back over here. Oh, the Kappa Cannoneer Dur, that also gets +1/+1 counters. Artifacts you control have hexproof, that's always nice. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control the artifact with the highest mana value or tied for the highest mana value, draw a card. Sure, why not? As far as art goes, I like this because it's not a close-up of his wrinkly face. Oh, and this isn't an art mistake. Videlkins are supposed to have this many fingers. For those of you unaware. Patchwork Automaton. Walking Ballista, I understand. Although I believe this is one that has an expensive but really... There we go, this one. I don't know what the name of this secret layer is, but this is so close to being out of, like, Battletech. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, investigate, and then activate abilities of artifacts you control cost 1 less, but that can't make it go lower than 1. I think that's worth it. And oh, I guess we do have non-robot stuff in here, cause duh. Non-creature spell proliferate. That makes sense. This one can explode into thopters, but it's not as good as the Walking Ballista, because while it costs 4, it's not a tap ability. So you definitely get a better rate. You can do more at a time. I don't think we're going to do scrap trawler stuff with this one. Oh, this is a way to so we can block with our transformers. Because it says 2 in a blue until end of turn, target non-creature artifact you control becomes an artifact creature and gains flying. If it's not a vehicle, it has base power toughness 1/1 till end of turn. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a +1/+1 counter on each up to 3 target non-creature artifacts. Oh, that's mildly interesting. Yeah. Urza Lorehide Artificer is way too good for this deck. Oh, the Reality Chip. Another way to play stuff off the top of our deck, and this shows Transformers a cartoon, so we're going to do this. We're going to have the cartoon one. Thrumming Bird has to... Oh, but it's also Phyrexian. I got to be careful about that. Yeah, we're not going to do that stuff. Master Transmuter. Oh, wow, that's actually wild. Return an artifact you control to its owner's hand. You may put an artifact card from your hand onto the battlefield. That is gross. Definitely. For 1 blue mana, I mean, it's an investment of 4, but then for 1 blue mana, you can cheat out artifacts. Unctus. Oh, you're Phyrexian. I gotta see, now I gotta go back and go, did I put any Phyrexians in here? Like, I'm fine with Cyberman, but I'm not fine with Phyrexians in my Autobot deck. I did not, so I'm good. And that put us up to 24 creatures. That's fine with that. So let's go here. See what kind of artifacts. They're suggesting lands. Oh, Unwinding Clock, of course. Oh, I forgot to change this in the other decks I put it in. I like the blueprinty ones, even though they're not blue. Oh, you may have Sculpting Steel enter the battlefield as a copy of another artifact. That's actually kind of funny, but I'm just going to skip that because I'll definitely want to put that in every single other one. It is funny how this is a... Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on this, and then you can turn it into a construct for extra. But yeah, but it is getting them. So I see. Whoops, I'm gonna do this. Yeah. Oh, and it's among Hold on. Among artifacts you control. So yeah, this guy just became even better because you never have to turn those artifacts into creatures to get their counters off of them. For the same reason I'm not putting it in my other ones, I'm not putting it in this one. Because I have a lot of other ones that are also creatures at the same time, and that just feels better. We're not Sensei's Divining Top. Oh, historic stuff. Artifacts are historic. Oh, Agatha the Soul Cauldron. It doesn't fit the vibe of this deck, but it would actually be good if I didn't have a vibe. Thrian Dynamo, Mindless Automaton. Okay, back up to here. See if there's any enchantments. Thopter Spy Network, I get it. Because it's a reconnaissance mission or a coastal piracy with an additional upside of getting Thopters every turn. With the downside of only your artifact creatures can draw you a card, I still think it's worth it. I thought of another thing I wanted to add, and then I immediately forgot. Because Mirrodin Besieged both reminded me of something, and then completely destroyed it from my brain. So we are at 88. 24 creatures, 1 enchantment. Oh, I remember now. Megadized Production. Alternate win con. I do want more artifact creatures. Oh, and I am going to go forward because I'm going to check the unwinding clock in this one. Oh, did this one not have an unwinding clock? Nope. Mildly interesting. Although that does, unwinding clock does have a non-bow with the rest, not with the Saraima. Do you still have it? Yes, I do. So you know what? I think I will get rid of that. for the rescue skiff because it's on theme. There it is. Oh, that also reminds me. T space. It's the Autobot flagship. I mean, it doesn't look anything like the Ark, but, you know. So that's still, those are still Decepticon. And when this spacecraft enters, return up to 2 target non-spacecraft creatures to their owner's hand. That also costs like 6. Hold on. Bleh. And it also makes our opponents mill. We don't care about that. Okay, that animates artifacts. We could probably station this thing relatively easy in this deck, but I'm still not interested. So where are we? We are at 89. We need 11 more for this one. 24 creatures. Any more creatures that I agree with? I just don't want to mill. You know what? Yeah, let's bring in the Hangerback Walker. Oh, Mechagodzilla crossover time. The better Metal Snake, maybe? Hold on, I have the coughs. I like the founder of Latnam because we can return an artifact we control to our hand, so we can cast it again. And then Surge Conductor. Whenever another non-token artifact you control enters proliferate. This costs and is slow, but that's funny. That it puts a +1/+1 counter on itself and also your commander. Oh, second spell, Proliferate. I get it. That is a wild secret lair. The better Metal Snake, honestly, does feel more Decepticon. What other walkers are there? Well, there's Endwalker that's actually Brainstorm. Hingewalker. What kind of alt art for the Marketback Walker do we have? Because I believe this is the Hangerback Walker. Repurposed post Phyrexian Invasion. And then we can. This one has some card draw tied to it. This can go down into removal. Section I missed because it was so small. Because I did not put my my normal suite of bouncy removal for mono blue. Do have a lot of card draw though. Oh, this is. Does Proliferate have a section? Did it give itself a section? Would it go? Well, I guess technically it could go in counters. There we go. But Proliferate is in fact its own section. There's also Protection. I could put a bunch of those in there. I'm thinking about the Meteor Golem and the Cityscape Leveler, but those also feel more like Decepticon things. Because they're just that hardcore. So I am going to +1/+1 counter and is permanent. Order CMC because that helps me. Oh, also mana value greater than or equal to 1. There we go. We're not putting in that self-contained infinite combo. All of the modules. What do you do? Oh, whenever an opponent shuffles their library, this thing gets a +1/+1 counter. That's mildly interesting. The clock works. The Jite. Pip-Boy. A Slith. It's Arcbound. Arcbound. We're going to see a lot of Arcbound stuff. Cast a non-creature spell, and draw your third card each turn. That's actually kind of appropriate. Because while being a wizard is weird for a robot, Jetfire was a scientist. And we can pretend that someone with Astro in their name is some kind of scientist as well. Huh. It's a rare, but they never once... Oh, it's a promo. They didn't do a borderless. It's always interesting when that happens. Because we could... if we draw enough things that say when you cast, draw. So it's aspirational, but not impossible. Oh, the Shuriken. That's interesting. When it attacks, you tap a thing, and if that thing was stronger than your thing, you put +1/+1 counters on your thing equal to the difference. Did Levitating Statue take itself out of the deck? Oh, we're putting it back into the deck. Because we do have a lot of non-creature spells. That's aura or equipment. That's specific creature type. I just realized that I've been ignoring this. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, put a +1/+1 counter on this. I ignore it because I don't think it's that good, but then it's like, oh wait, like the whole point of this deck is to get big mana for ramp. Ramping into what? No idea. Things that aren't artifacts that get +1/+1 counters on them don't count. I gotta remember that. I still feel that this is too slow. I don't think we're getting rid of our stuff quick enough for Sir Ginger. Oh, this is if at least 3 mana of the same color was spent to cast it, it's a 3/3 for 3 instead of a 2/2 for 3. Like, here's what's funny. This was a set with broken cards, but the cards that aren't broken were kind of garbage. Like, this should have been a 4/4 for 3 if you spent 3 mana of the same color. I think that would have been better. They could have gone a little harder on that. Oh, that's bobblehead stuff. I still want to put all however many bobbleheads in a thing. Hey, Tezzeret. Tezzeret would be with the Decepticons, though. I'm just wanting to read. It's +0 puts +1 counter on artifact creatures. More Arcbound stuff. I saw them. Creatures you control with +1/+1 counters on them can't be blocked. That's just a good idea. There we go. I know you can load. There we go. Not that it was worth the wait. If you paid 7 for it, wait, hold on. So it's a 4/4 for 4, but if you pay 7 for it, it gets a +1/+1 counter for each non-basic land your opponents control. And then if it becomes the target of a spell, you sacrifice it and you get a bunch of constructs. That could be good, or it could be absolute garbage. No, it could be halfway decent or absolute garbage, because it doesn't fly, it doesn't trample, it doesn't nothing. Untethered Express gets a +1/+1 counter every time it attacks, and it has a low crew cost. More Clockwork stuff. Things are getting kinda slow. Hey, there's Jetfire. The Mere Prototype, nope. Honestly, we were getting really expensive there. So what are we at? We just need 3 more. Type. Hey, 30 creatures. Let's go in here. Let's go in here. Let's just check for instance to see what they think I should put in. Of course I should put in Counterspell, but I'm not going to. Oh, desynchronization actually makes sense because we have so many artifacts. It will return a lot of we do have stuff that's not historic that it would return, but that's still a good piece of mass disruption for us. Okay, so now let's look at sorceries. Actually, let's look at Tezzeret and Tezzeret. Yeah, that makes sense. But like I said, he's a Decepticon sympathizer. Affinity for artifacts, draw 2 cards. 1 with the machine, I understand. So we are at 98, and I think this goes under card draw. Nope, this goes under counters. That's evasion. Oh, right. I have to move something from removal to mass disruption. So 2 more. Let's look at artifacts again. No. The Everflowing Chalice is mildly funny. Other artifact creatures you control have flying? I mean, my commander already does, but I guess this would give it to other artifact creatures that I have besides my commander. So let's just do that. Whoops. I think that still means 1 more. Yep. The Mindless Automaton is actually pretty good if we put +1/+1 counters on it from other effects. But you have to remove 2 to get a card. Chromatic Orrery, I know what you do, so I don't care that I can't see your picture. Portal Phyrexia, definitely a Decepticonian card, because that definitely has Space Bridge vibes. The first artifact is cheaper than a bunch of other stuff that I don't care about. Inexorable Tide is kind of a trap because it costs 5 and you could actually just be doing stuff. We could put in Mirrodin Besiege and just be done with it. many non-creature spells do we have? 19, 20, 21, 28. Oh, we have 30. That's good. I almost had a thought. Almost had a thought and it went away. Hit caps lock on accident. What kind of super big artifacts do we got here? Where do we have the Darksteel Colossus? If Metalwork Colossus actually had like trample or something. Oh, this gives all of our stuff hexproof because it's blue. Well, all the blue stuff hexproof at any rate. But the Ancient Stone Idol, which has flash, that's interesting, is a 12/12 with trample. And that's what we're going with, even though that gives us 32 creatures, 33 including our commander. But that also lets us end the deck. Hey, that was mildly faster than yesterday's first deck. Or not yesterday's, last week's. Let's say words correctly. So now we're on Blitzkrieg. So it's Blitzwing, Cruel Tormentor. It's 5 and a black for a 6/5 legendary artifact creature robot with more than meets the eye. Of course, that means you can cast the backside for this alternate cost. At the beginning of your end step, target opponent loses life equal to the life that player lost this turn. If no life was lost this way, convert Blitzwing. Living Metal. Artifact creature on our turn. Man, you know what? This version of Blitzwing looks super cool. At the beginning of combat of your turn, choose Flying or Indestructible at random. Blitzwing gains that ability. This looks super cool, but it's not really evocative of what Blitzwing is. I'm going to have to go over here. Blitzwing is actually a triple changer because he has 2 alternate modes. He is a robot, but he's also a plane or a tank. Blitzwing gains that ability for end of turn, and then if you manage to deal combat damage to a player, we can turn him back over here. And then now for our 30 different swamps. Well, not 30, but you know what I mean. This is the swamp for the Transformer set. I don't know which secret layer this is. I just thought it was really cool for the black deck. There's the Vector. There's that Japanese secret layer. There's Beyond Death, Dominaria United, Infinity, Other Infinity, Brothers War, Other Brothers War, Phyrexia Oval V1. I liked this one because there's that Beast Wars character, Black Arachnia. So this had that vibes. Murders of Karloff Manor. This industrial thing from Assassin's Creed. Ether Drift. Edge of Eternities. Oh, Collective Brutality. This is obviously from the Transformers Secret Lair. Escalate, so discard a card. For each mode beyond the first that we want to do, we have to discard a card. So we can choose one, and then discard a card to get other abilities. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an instant or sorcery card from it. That player discards the card. We don't like making people discard, so we don't do that. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. That's not really good for 2 mana. And neither is target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life, so this is not a very good card. It is only in here because it's from the secret lair. At most, I would discard a card. Well, actually, I would discard this card for something else's escalate cost, if I'm being perfectly honest. It's only in here because it has Devastator on it. Endless Atlas, of course, because we're in a mono color. Starscream, he has his own deck over here, but he's in this one. These guys look like they are on drugs. They just look way too happy. More than meets the eye, of course. Flying. Whenever you draw a card, if you're the monarch, target opponent loses 2 life. Whenever one or more creatures deal combat damage to you, convert Starscream. And this side has flying. This side has flying, menace, and haste, which is interesting. And it's still a 2/3. So it's actually probably to your benefit to more than meets the eye your Starscream. Just because you can probably get in for damage with this side. Whenever Starscream deals combat damage to a player, if there is no monarch, that player becomes the monarch. So you don't get the monarch right away. Whenever you become the monarch, convert Starscream. Then we have the Aether Spark again. I know the Matrix of Leadership is an Autobot thing, but you know the Decepticons would steal it the second they had the chance. And then Megatron, because this is the Decepticons. The Barrow Downs, because that's Bajuka Bog. Cabal Stronghold, because we're in mono black. Cybertron, the Command Tower. Cabal Coffers, because we're in mono black. Married Landscape, because we're in monocolors. Sosur Secundi, Void Altar. Have I mentioned Station yet? Yeah, I had to have during the mono blue one. At 12 Station, you can pay 2 and a black and tap this. Pay 2 life, sacrifice a creature. Draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power. Activate only as a sorcery. Then Urborg to make everything a swamp. Sol Ring. Yep, this is the Decepticon Sol Ring because it reminds me of their space bridge. We are going to switch this to that. Charcoal Diamond, Gold Steel Heart. We will take out the Felbar Stone. And then this creepy Jet Medallion that is just not pleasant to look at. Mind Stone, Allspark, Iron Crag we can take out. Thought Vessel, we're going to change that as well. More than the Autobot ones, this one definitely could have been the Decepticon looking into the cube looking one. Bantu's Monument. This one's specifically for whenever you cast a creature spell, each opponent loses a life and you gain a life. Because with our commander. The Solemn Simulacrum, Darkness Crystal. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead and you gain 2 life. And then you can pay a lot of mana and tap this. Sorry, something popped up and it was actually interesting. Exiled with the Darkness Crystal onto the battlefield under your control with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. Neat. Defile. Yes. This is a card I need to remember that it exists more. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn for each swamp you control. That ain't much on curve, but later in the day, that's a lot. Bitter Triumph. Discard a card or pay 3 life to get rid of a creature or planeswalker. Cast Down gets rid of non-legendaries. Go for the Throat gets rid of non-artifacts. Heartless Act gets rid of things without counters on it. Infernal Grasp gets rid of anything but, or any creature I should say, You lose 2 life. Arc Enemy's Charm, the most important one, is that it exiles a creature or planeswalker. Overkill makes sure that things that are indestructible die anyway. Baleful Mastery, Deadly Rollick, Drag to the Underworld, and that's the end of that. And, oh, we are actually going to put the Soulstone in this deck. There we go. Because it taps 4 black. Let's see what other versions there are. $200 for a card that, 1, isn't out yet, and 2, it doesn't have any of the text of what it does on it. There's not a whole lot of cards from the Spider-Man set that I care about, and that's barely one of them. Aunt May and Spider-Pig are 2 others. We are going to jump... No, we're not going to jump ahead. So, what do we want to do? We want other things with this text on it. Just, Devastator. Right? That's his name, right? That's the... We're naming it after the guy in the picture because it's the only reason why he's in the deck. We want other things with this, which I can name 2 off the top of my head. But I'm going to look it up by... So we're going to go twice that much, because that's going to get us the Bloodletter of Aclazotz. Then we'll do Lost this turn. And this costs 8, but we're still going to put it in the deck. Archfiend of Despair, your opponents can't gain life. At the beginning of each instep, each opponent loses life equal to the life that they lost this turn. Sure, why not? And then Mortarion, Daemon Primarch. At the beginning of your instep, you may pay X. If you do... Oh, that's lost. They lost this turn. What's funny is that this is target opponent, and this is each opponent, and we're also doing Wound Reflection. And we'll do the Doctor Who crossover Wound Reflection. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature tied this turn, each opponent loses life. Then when it becomes level 2, you look at the top 3 cards in the library, 1 in your hand, the rest in your graveyard. And then if you're willing to pay another 7, at the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses life equal to the life they lost this turn. I don't... Nope, it never got reprinted. What's funny is I didn't want to put Wizard class in the mono blue, but I'm like, you know what? No, all of this is on theme with the Blitzwing. We want to make our opponents lose life for reasons. We are moving these from Drain to Burn because that is more accurate. Because we are not gaining life. Just scratching my back really quick. Huh. So the next thing I want is whenever an opponent loses. There we go. Whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. Dang, this is a cool looking card. but we're not paying twice as much for a busy card. We're not putting in the other half. We're just putting in, we're not putting in the bond, we're just putting in the blood. And then we'll do the D&D crossover card. See, that goes into drain. But they put it in life gain, which is fine. Because it's half of drain. They put Warlock class into draw. I'm going to put it over here because that's the part that I care about. So now so actually target opponent loses 2 life and gain 2 life is the best part of this card. Because it's the part that matters. Let's see. We are at 72. We are okay. So we need creatures. Let's look for creatures that do stuff. Notice I'm less worried about robots in this one. Oh, good old Gary. Good old Gary. Hello, Gary. We'll grab. We'll grab this, Gary. Good old mono black Gary. Oh, of course we want Unstoppable Slasher. Anything that makes our opponents lose half their life. Well, this makes everybody lose their life, but that hurts everybody else more. It's expensive, but sure, why not? Because it costs 4, 5, 6, 7 to do that. But hey. Oh, we're going to search for all of these to grab them all at the same time. Though whenever you tap a swamp, you get more mana out of it. I don't know what a Satan is because I don't play 40. I don't actually play enough 40k to care. But I assume since it's black card that it probably has something to do with the Necrons. Although then again, it also could have been in the Chaos deck, even though 3 black pips is a big ask in a 3-color deck. When this enters, each player loses a third of their life rounded up. I mean, sure, why not? That's not half, but that's still a lot. Kirik, I understand. Oh, the Tree of Perdition is funny. Ayara First of Lochthwain is a solid card. Since the majority of our creatures are black, and then we can just sacrifice them to draw cards. This guy has to do combat damage to a player. We don't get his partner because his partner is mono green. But, you know, anything that can potentially make our opponent lose half their life. I don't think we're going to Shield Druid. We'll make us to the coffers, though, because we have a lot of things that we want big mana for. Massacre Worm. Yeah, because that's another piece of mass disruption. It can at least clear off the mooks. Whenever an opponent searches their library, that player sacrifices a creature and loses 10 life. That's just evil. If an opponent would gain life, that player loses that much life instead. That is once again very evil. This is... It's funny that it's something that they'd either need to remove immediately or not care about. Tap a swamp for mana. I think there were only 2 of these, so we'll just grab this. And when we go back to the top, we'll grab the other one. Nope, okay. Don't know if we're going to go the Braids, Arisen Nightmare route. Nope, okay. I do kind of like this art more now that I'm looking at it, even though it's $7 more. And also the extort being on it is really nice. Actually drain. We're at 85 with 19 creatures. Good go us. Yep, draw section, okay. Not completely embarrassing, only a little embarrassing. Oh, we do gain the amount of life he lost that way. That's funny. Salvacer. Okay, those 2 are called finishers. They call this recursion, but that's silly. It's like they put it in the recursion section because it's something that you would want to recur later. But that's still silly as heck. So I think that's all of the stuff in those directions. We are going to search here with those things taken out. Dread Presence. Oh, that's whenever a swamp enters the battlefield, you can do a thing. We do have 30 swamps. I think I will take the J22. I just have a thing against having any of the expansion symbols with a number in them. At the beginning of our upkeep, this does 1 damage to each opponent, and then we gain life equal to the amount of life lost that way. That is mean-spirited in this deck, because then we can be like, oh, remember that 1 damage that I did at the beginning of my turn? You can lose 1 more point of life. Depending on when and how early in the game it is, Tree of Perdition can really ruin someone's day. I'm curious to see where that one gets put. That is not a drain effect. I will put it in the finisher column since it's basically the same as the other ones. Now, where did that other thing go? I'm going to move this from stacks to burn. What was that thing's name? Dread Presence. Oh, it probably got put in card draw because they're like people are going to choose that the most. Yep. I mean, depending, they're not wrong. Oh, we can move this to finisher now that finisher has its own section. Like, we know it has infect, but it has so much infect that that infect can be a finisher. So what kind of artifacts do they think? Oh, the artifact that says loses half their life. Sure, why not? And also gives equipped creature death touch. And we'll put this version in. Oh, loses half their life rounded up. We're not going to bullet Citadel. Oh, copy targeted triggered ability. My leg itches. We could make stuff unblockable, but I'm actually going to lean away from that. But yeah, Strionic Resonator, that makes sense. Because, oh man, these are... Like, for basically a giant tuning fork, that is some cool art that they gave it. Throne of Eldraine. Oh, yeah, 5 for 4, and then we can draw cards with it. We have Strionic Resonator, but it doesn't have the Lithoform engine, oddly enough. Whoops. Which is basically the Strionic Resonator again, but I think it costs more to bring out. And it also has these other modes, so let's do that. Go here. Both of those should have been in copy. Yep. Oh, it costs twice as much to bring out, but again, it has these other modes. So, like, we can copy an instant or sorcery for 3, and then we can copy a permanent for 4. But yeah, no, copying a triggered ability, yeah, no, that's good. So let's go copy O triggered. Copy target activated or attributed ability from a colorless source. That doesn't help. From another legendary source that's not a commander. That also doesn't help. So these are the only 2 good ones. The other things I'm thinking of, I think, are only for activated. So, but what are we at? We got 91. We got 9. We got 21 creatures. We actually have a good removal section. Our mass disruption section isn't good because the mass disruption in black bothers me. Oh, whoops, Quietus Spike. We're going to move you from here to the other ones. That say lose half their life. Oh, wait. Wait, hold on. The lose half their life ones was in finishers. There we go. I am going to check tap a swamp. Yep, it's just those two. Sweet. Let's see, I checked artifacts before, but we're checking them again. Oh, the Scepter of Eternal Glory is mildly interesting. It's either garbage, or if you have 3 lands with the same name, it taps for 3 mana of the same color. Let's see what other enchantments. I bet they want us to go... Oh, you know what? Yeah, Phyrexian Arena. We'll do this one with the... not exactly copyright infringing Xenomorph. Grievous Wounds is too expensive to only be affecting one player. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, they lose 5 life unless they discard. Don't want it. Black Market. Oh, Black Market Connections, dur. We'll do this one. Oh, yeah, this Liliana, boy, I forgot she existed, but I don't know if you've ever seen any of the videos where, what was it, Koth Fire of Resistance, so it was the exact same mana value, but in red, and that has a +2, search your library for a basic mountain, put it into your hand. This is the same thing, only it doesn't have to be a basic swamp, and it's only a +1, and then also has this -3 where it's +X or -X, where it's the number of swamps you control. And then if you ever bother to get this emblem, it makes your swamps tap for 4 black. Yes, please. So I now have 2 favorite planeswalkers when I remember that Liliana of the Dark Realms exists. And I mean specific planeswalker cards, because it's this one and the Koth that allows us to grab mountains. It's expensive, but we're not in green, so we take what we can get. I wonder where they put her. Did they put her in removal? They put her in ramp, which is where she belongs, because that's her +1. So now we're at 94, 6 more to go. Checking messages really quick. I know it has... Oh, someone is happy about a thing I shared. That always makes you feel good. So yay, and it's... What's this 6 mana Sora Markov? Oh, does till damage a target creature or player and you gain 2 life. Target opponent's life total becomes 10. And the -7 I don't like, but I would just tell people I will never -7 because the point of the deck is the +2 and the -3. So I'd be like, don't worry guys, I'll never -7. If I ever -7, you have my permission to punch me in the face. And then we'll have this ridiculous... I wonder if this was a Bloomburrow related secret lair. I also like it because it's a lot easier to read than the base version. So we're going with both of those. Wow, 2 planeswalkers in a deck. I don't hate them, I just don't use them very much. Oh, this goes in finisher. because it follows the same rules as these other ones where it says they lose half their life. Actually, I just thought of I thought of 3 other cards because of I believe they're one of them are all of them mono black. So this one's funny because whenever another player loses the game, you gain life equal to that player's life total at the turn began. And considering our potential to taking people out from a high life total, I feel that this is a good addition. And we're doing this art. Blitzwing has a lot of vampire friends, I noticed. And honestly, we can just do Primal Odin just to make people lose. Also, its last one just has everybody losing 2 life. And the other one I was thinking about, I guess, wasn't mono black. The thing I don't like about him is that -2/-2 is permanent. But well, not permanent, but for as long as he's on this face. And it's also all creatures besides this guy and another guy. But we can just plan around that. That puts us at 98. I guess that is counters. And where is finishers? That's burn. That's strong. There's finishers. All the way over here. Because they can finish at least one person off. So instead of trying to see if I spelt it wrong, or it had a different series of words, I'm just going to see if I can let's see. Death touch. There. Okay, whatever I'm thinking of must be multicolor. And I'm going to look for them. Oh, it's the Wooburg one. And if they have 10 or less life, that player loses the game. Okay, I feel better now that I know what it is. So anyway, 2 more. We are great on creatures. 24. So we're going to go back to EDH Rec. Actually, we can go to combos just to see if we have anything almost concluded besides... It's going to mention the Infinite Drain combo a bunch. Called the Blood Bond combo. That is funny, but we're not going to do it uh, because it's a 2-card infinite. Yep, it is all variations on the Blood Bond combo. Oh, this is one I forgot about because I forgot this creature existed. Oh. Well, yeah, this isn't an infinite, though. This is just a make opponent lose the game because they draw too many cards. Not that this always says what that they're always infinite. So I was like really butthurt for no reason. But yeah, no, Peer into the Abyss is actually a really good card for this deck. Even though it costs 7. Oh, that's actually funny. So let's click on this. Starting with you, each player may pay any amount of life. Repeat this process until no one pays life. Each player puts a 1/1 black rat creature token into play for each one life they paid this way. That is super expensive, but that's neat. And that's another infinite. That's the infinite again. The infinite again. Oh, yes. Cybermen Squadron for this. Though I don't have a whole lot of robots in here, that's why we're not going Cybermen Squadron. Or artifact creatures. Oh, this is another target. I won't put this one in because it's a sorcery, but you can make target opponent lose half their life rounded up. Which is funny because I was willing to do that with that other sorcery. If I made it a quote-unquote generic black deck with a Yara at the helm, and I didn't think to put in that make a bunch of rats cards. That's the infinite again. Flying, fraying omnipotence. That's a. Yeah, I think I'll leave out the sorceries. Oh, Blade of Selves again. Yeah, thing has a myriad. Oh, this. Yeah, that's a good combo. One player will definitely lose the game. Wait, hold on. Jaws of Defeat. Whenever a creature you control enters, okay, target opponent loses life equal to the difference between that creature's power and its toughness. Oh. That's mildly interesting. We overkill our own creature. So Jaws of Defeat will remember the creature's last power and toughness. Okay, that I admit is funny. But I wonder how many other things we have that would trigger this. So we're not just waiting for that combo. Oh, this is infinite mana. See, this is half their starting life total, so you kind of have to be careful when you do that. Infinite mana again. Oh, like I didn't finish reading this one because I just didn't like this first part. It attacks an opponent at random, and then if it deals combat damage to them, they lose half their life rounded down. So yeah, that's worth putting in. Oh, FRL Stone Chosen. We just got to make sure Void triggers. So we're fine with that. And also this cool art. Also this cool art. Also this cool art. We'll fix that eventually. Yep. Oh, what does Sands of Time do? Each player skips their untap step. That sounds annoying. At the beginning of each player's turn, untap each tap. Oh, that's weird and I don't care. When this attacks, we lose half our life, and when it deals combat damage to the player, they lose half their life. That's not worth it, for the record. Dollhouse of Horrors? Exile a creature card from your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of it. Okay. Okay, I see this being worth it. Exile a creature card from your graveyard, which means Tree of Perdition has to be in the graveyard. Which means you probably sacrificed it to AR in the first place. And then, so we pay one, tap this, exile, create a token that's a copy of it, accepts a 0/0 construct, and then it has blah 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 blah. So that's a way to get like two people with Tree of Perdition, because you kind of gotta sacrifice it once. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, sure. Although that's more of a thing that should go in the Ayara deck, but scroll to top, go here. Oh, that's 101. We're gonna remove that dollhouse then, and then you go into finishers. Because that is something that I could have put in a Yara's deck way back when I built it, but I didn't. Probably. I don't remember. Either way, that's Blitzkrieg. I kind of liked what we did. It's like we're really hammering on the thing of you lose life. Just lose life. Maybe I'll gain life. And then other cards that were just kind of in here because of the Transformers thing. Proxy. So now we're on Seek and Destroy. I believe everything is the same, except that the commander is Starscream and Blitzwing is in the deck somewhere. We're going to remove the Felwar Stone and the Iron Crag. But we're going to add in the Soul Stone. And then we're going to change which Thought Vessel we have. And then also change our Arcane Signet. Then we go look at Blitzkrieg, because there are things that we do want to copy. We don't need to copy this. We don't need to copy that. We don't need to copy this. We don't need to copy any of this. We could copy some of the things in here. So we want Grey Merchant, Dread Presence, Phyrexian Arena, Black Market Connections, Ayara, because she's nobility. And then, is there anything in here that got put in here? I mean, we could do Massacre Worm, but maybe not. Oh, and then these two things. No, the three things. These two and the one that's a little higher up. Oh, and Liliana. See, so it's Liliana of the Dark Realms, Wind to Ramp, so that's got to be the correct one. Tap a Swamp. I'm not too worried about versions in this one, just because of how far we are in the video. Yara, First of Lockwing. Phyrexian Arena. I believe it was Dread Presence. Yep, that one over there. We are going back here and double checking. None of that. Yara. Oh, Black Market. Black Market Connections. And Grey Merchant. Because I did that. Oh, Magus of the Coffers. There we go. Magus of the Coffers, Grey Merchant, Black Market Connections. I managed to easily remember 2 out of 3. Coffers. There we go. That puts us at 75. And we have 9 creatures, so we want way more creatures. But there's one specific thing I want to put in here. Other ways to become the monarch. Lose 3 life. You know what? As much as I normally don't like making people discard, they can just lose 3 life. This steel stuff. Don't like that. Whenever we become the monarchs, target player sacrifices a creature. The Crown of Gondor. That only does it if there is no monarch. Oh, if we're the monarch, we can do a bit of a drain. Oh, this. We become the monarch, and then if they attack us or a planeswalker we control, they lose a life. This makes us become the monarch, but the creature is absolute garbage. This at least has death touch. Like a 2/5 for 5 with vigilance. Yeah, I guess. There we go. Everything but this one, because the Court of Lochthwain steals stuff, and I don't agree with stealing. And that gave us 6 more cards. You know what? Let's be annoying. Starscream should take the initiative. 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 But not these other items to take the initiative. Yep. What other... So you can take the initiative and become the monarch. What did that put us at? That put us at 86 with 18 creatures. Now let's go to Idiotrek, now that I've objectively made the deck probably worse, but I don't care. Psychosis Crawler. I get it. Whenever we draw a card, the opponent loses a life because we can be the monarch. Shieldred, Iron... Actually, this makes more sense in this deck, so we will Shieldred. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. And then there's this piddly little recursion strapped to it. Whenever you lose life, draw that many cards. I think I mentioned this in another one. I made someone lose the game with this because I had like Underworld Dreams or something in play. But Changeling Outcast. I could put all those Bloodletter things in here, but I'm not going to. This because it's unblockable. There is another one in here. I could... Like, Starscream's kind of a coward, so I could put my protection pieces in this one. Kirik. Oh, there it is. Tormented Soul. I didn't have to look for it. Ophiomancer. I don't have an easy sack outlet. We'll do a Massacre Worm. Oh, Silent Arbiter. Yeah, that makes sense. To keep the Monarch more easily. This thing It has shadow. It's also indestructible. And then it can also get bigger. Yeah, you know what? Just them saying it's a discard just made me go, nah, I don't want it. That's not drain because we don't gain life from it. This, we do gain life from the life loss, so that counts. And now we're at down to 92. Oh, and do we have a finisher section now? No. I'm going to move this to drain because that is the more important of the two things that it does, at least to me. You know, Starscream the Power Hungry is a coward, so he will protect himself just to kind of... Oh, wait. How many creatures do I have again? 25? Yeah, okay. So he's going to protect himself. So this one... I'm just counting to 8. 2, 3... We'll come back for that if we don't get to 8. Four, 5, 6. Seven, 8, 9, actually. Oh wait, with that Shroud till end of turn. I'm not worried about the giving other things unblockable. I mean, sure, I only have 2 unblockable creatures, and there's definitely no guarantee I'll draw them. But yes, I'm actually fine. What's funny is I don't have any recursion. No, well, no, I have that one thing, but it's garbage recursion. But I still plan on apparently sacrificing creatures with Ayara to draw cards. Even though I couldn't, well, I guess I could, the things that give me initiative or make me the monarch, and once they've done their purpose, I could get rid of them. Oh, wait, the black market connections. There we go. Okay, so that's that. Like I said, it's getting warm. Don't feel like dealing with the deck anymore. Oh, and there's one more monocolor one. Sorry. This is going to go a little bit longer. So this is Slicer Hired Muscle. We're getting some bonus time because I wanted to finish off the monocolors. You've probably seen this in a couple other mono red decks that I've made. 4 in a red for a 3/4 with double strike and haste that you can cast the other side for 2 in a red. We'll get to it in a minute. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you may have them gain control of this. If you do, untap it, and it can't be sacrificed this turn. It doesn't gain goad, so they can attack us with it. That's funny. Oh no, there it is, goad. I missed that part. Immediately wrong. And then on the back, because if we don't do that, we can convert it to the first strike haste 3/2. So same strength, not as durable, and that is a cool looking car. And then when it deals combat damage to a player, boom, it comes back to robot. And then let's look over our mountains. That unstable one is cool. That may or may not be the junk bots from Junkotron, a planet that they visit in the 80s movie. But this is the Transformer Secret Lair land, the Vector land, Beyond Death, Unsanctioned, a Double Masters land. This is from the list, but it is actually from... It's from the list, and I just realized I did this, but it was actually printed... Darn it. It was printed somewhere else first. I don't feel like looking for it. But there's Streets of New Capenna again, other Streets of New Capenna, Dominaria United, Infinity, Brothers War, Owl V1, March of the Machine again, Murders of Karlov Manor. I'm sorry, that looked almost exactly like one of the Streets of New Capenna ones. Fallout, Modern Horizons 3, Aether Drift, Edge of Eternities, Endless Atlas because we're in mono red, Bloodthirsty Blade because it goads a creature, and kind of one of the things for this deck is letting other people attack for us. So there's going to be a guy in here. In fact, it's the next card. Alexios, Deimos of Cosmos. It attacks each combat if able and can't be sacrificed and can't attack us, the person who owns the card. So that's even better than goaded, because it's goaded plus, like, no, not even if they're the only target, he still won't attack them. It's loyal goad. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player gains control of Alexios, untaps it, puts +1/+1 counter on it, and it gains haste. Arena of Glory to make sure stuff has haste. Cybertron, Married Landscape, Nykthos. Did I forget to put that into a couple of decks? I might have. Path of Ancestry, just so we can scry when we play our commander, I guess. Tyrant's Sanctum to make sure that our legendary creatures are indestructible with extra steps. Valakut to have our mountains eventually do lightning bolt players. Sol Ring, fix the Arc Sig. Huh, they changed the order. Cold Steel Heart. Oh, Dowsing Dagger because we control the equipment no matter what player controls the creature. So when we pass out around Slicer, eventually the Dowsing Dagger. So when it enters the battlefield, one of our opponents will get 2 O2 green plant creature tokens with Defender. Our equipped creature gets +2/+1. And then if it does combat damage to a player, we can flip it into this Lotus Veil, which adds 3 mana of any one color to our mana pool. And we just attach it to Slicer, and eventually he'll hit someone. We can dump the Felwar Stone. Probably. And the Iron Crag. But then we also have the Fire Diamond, the Mind Stone, Ruby Medallion. We can fix the Thought Vessel as well while we're here. Scroll down until we get to that. Hazoret's Monument, because it gives us the option to discard a card to draw a card, which we're probably going to have a lot of garbage cards in our deck. Then the red that can make a copy of a thing and sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step. Our removal is absolute trash, but it's Crush, Raise the Effigy, Shattering Spree, Smelt, Vandal Blast, Mizium Mortars, Wild Magic Surge, Chaos Warp, Delayed Blast Fireball, Guffer Writes History, Transforming Flourish. You've seen them in other things. Guff, Flourish, Warp, and Wild Magic can either will or can potentially replace the thing you get rid of, so that's not great. Crush Raise, Shattering Spree, Smelt, Vandal Blast all take care of artifacts. Mizium Mortars and Delayed Blast Fireball can take care of medium-sized to small creatures. Here's a stacks piece. When it enters the battlefield, we draw a card, but all lands lose all abilities except mana abilities. So, like the Valakut would lose the. So a lot of ours have non-mana abilities. Like this wouldn't be able to search for stuff. We wouldn't scry from casting robots. This wouldn't be able to turn things to gods or make them indestructible. And this wouldn't lightning bolt players for playing mountains. So we're going to add Koth, Fire of Resistance. It went to ramp, so I know it's the correct one. It's this one, +2. You get a basic mountain from your deck. You can also deal damage equal to the number of mountains you have. And then you can get an emblem that's a slightly better version of Valakut's ability. Because A, you don't have to have... Oh, and it's only 5 mountains, but you don't have to have 5 mountains. And that does 4 damage. We only have 2 creatures. We will fix that. But first, I'm going to look up so Assault Suit is equipped creature gets +2/+2, has haste, can't attack us or planeswalkers we control, and can't be sacrificed. And then at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you may have that player gain control of equipped creature until end of turn if you do untap it. So this is another thing that I probably forgot in another deck. Because I believe Alexios had its own deck, and we could probably copy pasta that deck to this deck and have it be just exactly the same. But I wanted to give Slicer his own thing. Or to see if I can see how close to that deck I get while making this deck without going back to look at it. We're going to find that Assault Suit and put it under Kindred Spirits. Because, you know, because they basically do what our commander does. Although Bloodthirsty Blade has to be equipped on to an opponent's creature. But now we do want creatures. We have 33 spots left. Let's see what EDA Trick says. There are funny things that we can put that Assault Suit on, though. Professional Facebreaker, I can understand. Kedis. Oh, the Brash Taunter, of course. Because we want this as a blocker. God, this is funny. I just don't like the way this guy looks. He is just not pleasant to look at. But I guess that's part of the point. Brash Taunter, you know I love an excuse to put him into a deck. Professional Facebreaker, maybe. Kedis, we kind of have to control. Does our guy get bigger? Oh, I know some things I want to put in here. Pardon my Belcheroos. Magus of the Wheel, Goblin Welder. I guess this is a way to get our commander back if we don't want to pay commander tax. Oh, Artifact spells we cast cost 1 less to cast. Our commander is an artifact. That's a good call. Oh, I actually had a halfway decent slow bad idea. Because there's that thing called weapons manufacturing, that whenever a non-token artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you get this munitions that you can't, like, you have to find a way to get rid of, and that, but when you do, it deals 2 damage to something. But you can do that with slow bad, because it's sacrifice an artifact gains indestructible until end of turn. Oops, Silent Arbiter, I like that. No more than 1 thing can attack per turn. It's like you can only attack, and you must attack with my guy, I guess. And then Torbrand, Thane of Redfell is just really we don't know what else to put in here. Let's see what kind of artifacts. I actually really do want to put in a lot of equipment just to equip my dude with. So, Basilisk Collar, the Maul, because it'll give it trample. We don't want Shroud. We do want Hexproof. This will give protection from everything besides red, which is fine. That's only 1 treasure token. I don't care about that. Oh, we could do Sword of the Animist to help ramp us, which means we're also going to want Bitterthorn. We do want this, so our creature... And then the Hammer of Nizan. So we do want Shadow Spear. We do want the Reaver Cleaver. +1/+1 for each ore and equipment attached to it, and has Ward 2. Yeah, sure, let's go with that. Equipmento XP to see, make sure we didn't. Yeah, we want the Champion's Helm, and we want the Mirror Shield. We want the Darksteel Plate. We also want the Diamond. Nah, we don't want the Diamond Pickaxe. It gives us a treasure on attack, but I think we can do better. Cauldron Complete. It's expensive, but like I did say, it could go in our Decepticon decks, and so here we are. And then be blocked. Oh good, I thought I hit a whole bunch of extra things. Oh look, they're an assassin now. It's only Shroud until end of turn. Psychic Paper, Prowler's Helm. Can't be blocked by creatures with flying. That feels way too niche. I know this gives Shroud, but hey, that's better than nothing. Oh, that didn't get... There we go. That time it should have sticked. Wrecking Ball Arm to make it a 7/7? I don't know. We're at 89. How many creatures do we have? We have 5. I do feel like I would want some blockers, because people are going to want to attack me. Oh, Chandra Dress to Kill is in this deck. That's new. Let's look at her. +1, add red. She deals 1 damage to up to 1 target player or planeswalker. Then we can also exile the top card of our library. If it's red, we can cast it. So basically, if it's an artifact or a land, it's gone forever. And then exile the top 5 cards of your library. You may cast red spells among them this turn. Honestly, I'm mostly doing it for the +1, or the first +1. Let's see, a certain thing went into removal that I'm going to move somewhere else. The Basilisk color, I'm going to put into life gain just so it'll be next to the Shadow Spear. So yeah, how many? So 11. Yeah, that'll only be 16 creatures, but hopefully that'll be enough. Maybe I will have creatures that make other creatures. T creature O creature token. Also, do I have a creature that I would want to put the assault suit on? Oh, you know who this deck is missing, weirdly enough? I don't know if there were... I didn't put any of the secret layer cards in it because I kind of put this together at a completely different time. So let's Control X that to save it for later. Set SLD art robot. That was not helpful. Okay. So order release. We're gonna be going down this for a while. Oh, these are recent. Well, there's Megatron. He forgot to make it into the deck. And that is definitely something I would assault suit. There it is, by force. That's the red one. Destroys X artifacts as a sorcery. So slightly better than Shattering Spree, but at... I didn't need to do that. Scroll the top. Crap. I pressed C instead of V. Six or more lands. Oh, that also reminds me. I don't know why I did that. That was unnecessary. Bitterthorn. At least when that comes into play, it creates a creature for it to be attached to. I think I'm going to remove Chandra. Like, you could argue Koth wouldn't work for a bunch of clankers. but he finds mountains, and you know, you're right. I'm right. He wouldn't work for the Decepticons. He'd probably be wary of the Autobots too, if we're being honest. And that gives us room for more creatures anyway. Looking for something that'll make a lot of creatures reliably and without putting themselves in danger. Goro, actually. As long as we have, I think that's only 5 mana and not 7. Because our commander we plan on modifying. Because we can still attack with our commander on our own turn. And it gives us a 5/5 flyer. So that's good. Hangerback Walker. That's not repeated, but yeah. Oh, way up here. King of the removal bait. Well, maybe not absolute king, but definitely high up the Dragon Master Outcast. If we have 6 or more lands in play, which we do have a couple of ways to get us up to 6. Whenever a creature attacks us, we get a 3/3 ogre unless they pay 3. We can either mess with their mana or get a 3/3 ogre. The mob boss can create us goblins, but that's really slow. A thing that dies into more creatures, that's tempting. I gotta remember with stuff like Heroic that casting a spell also counts auras. Oh, we get a... all we have to do is attack, and that's kind of what we want to do. Oh, that costs 7. That costs 8. Like, there's some good things, but they're on the expensive side, and we're not guaranteed our ramp. Okay, where did that put us? That put us at 94. That put us at 10 creatures. Actually, I want to remove Smelt, raise the effigy, and Crush. That gives us more room for creatures. There's a thing I can look for. Things that interact with artifact spells, because, shoosh. Nope. Liberator. Shimmer Mirror, because we do admittedly have a lot. Oh, Poetic Ingenuity. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a dinosaur. It only happens once a turn, and I know that dinosaurs are an Autobot thing, but I am kind of running out of ideas here. And then non-creature spell, because boy were there a lot of those in this deck. I mean, there are all of these deals 1 damage to your opponent's things for casting our non-creature spells. Because we have 33 artifacts, 5 instants, and 4 sorceries. So that's 33, 38, 39, 40. That's 44 non-creature spells. So I feel like that's not the worst thing I could do. So let's go back up here and do order CMC and only put in the cheapest ones. Order. So that, the Flame Breather, and then now we're at 3, and I don't feel it's worth its the mana value. But we're at 97 with 15 creatures. So at least we can get up to 18 creatures. How about some is permanent -T creature O creature token. Chandra wouldn't work for the Decepticons. And I don't want no temporary tokens either. There is this, where as long as we're double casting, we can get stuff with prowess. Jeez, the non-zero number of things that say sacrifice and land, create a token. It's like I'm not that desperate. I saw like one thing near the beginning. Urbrask's Forge is what I was thinking about when I said I didn't want this thing. I mean, we can also give stuff +1/+1 in haste, but I love making these little devils. They're a decent way to protect Zariel, but there was one thing up here. I forgot what it was. Oh, it was Corey Steelcutter. Because I think we have a decent... Yeah, we have a lot of really cheap things that we can... Wow, we have a lot of really cheap things that we can probably double spell a lot. We're looking for job select, form mirrored in, and living weapon. We're going to get other stuff, but we're going to see if there's anything good in here. Oh, the Hex Blade Wallbreaker is actually funny because it gives our opponents multiple attacks when they have our dude. That could be dangerous, but that is like maybe the exact kind of chaos we want. Yeah, let's do that. That is funny, bad idea. There we go. Okay, so now next week is going to be these 4 2-color decks. And then after that it'll be the 4 3-color decks. So I'll see you then.